So before we get started, I just want to apologize, guys. I was not able to show kind of like the building of the shell of this. I thought I was recording, but I actually wasn't. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. But either way, I hope you guys are excited for a really awesome speed build today regardless. Today we are making a beautiful habitat for the Egyptian fruit bat. I know, it's about time. So I kind of got started on a shell over here, and I really wanted to have these nice big windows. I was very much inspired by, I believe, ZHS Plays. You guys should check him out. Just look up ZHS Plays Planet Zoo, and you guys will be able to find his really awesome, like, wild series, and he also does some really beautiful zoos as well. Please go check him out. He's an awesome creator and deserves so much more attention. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. I wanted these nice big open windows in the front, and I'm covering them up with a little bit of shade. One of my biggest complaints in zoos, and something that I'm doing right over here, is having windows into an indoor area in an area that would probably have direct sunlight. This is one of my biggest pet peeves, and excuse me while I just sit up in my chair a little bit more so I could kind of talk with my arms, even though you guys can't see it. There is just so many examples of so many zoos that have examples of, like, windows right outside, and the glare just comes right on them. It's one of my biggest complaints, and I'm sure you guys feel this way too, because it's one of the most infuriating things at a zoo when you're trying to get a good picture, or when you're even trying to look at an animal to begin with that is inside of glass and you can't see it. Stone Zoo, which is a beautiful zoo up in northern Massachusetts, they have very much big issues with this. It kind of infuriates me, but they have windows to the wild, which is really cool. They have a whole bunch of different animals, but the issue is that it's always looking into the sun, and it's like, what the hell? I can't see anything in here. But still, complaining aside, you can see that we're getting started on the actual roofing of this building. Obviously, since it's a large building to begin with, I really want to have a nice big building, even though we're using most of it, but we could kind of imply that some other parts of it are being used for, like, office spaces or, like, zookeeper areas or stuff like that. I'm not really sure. But what we're doing over here, which we've done throughout the entire rest of the zoo, is keeping this nice consistent framing around the actual kind of roof edges and stuff like that, so it comes together really nicely in the end. Really helps it feel like it's a lot more of a, I don't know, like a very finalized product, which is what I like to see it as. So we do a whole bunch of that, my friends. We start to make it look nice and pretty. And yeah, it's just focusing on those tiny little details, just making sure that everything feels nice, everything has a nice flow to it, everything just looks beautiful to begin with. And yeah, that's really it. I'll admit I'm a little ashamed at how little kind of decoration we've done for this habitat. I make it like a cave on the inside, kind of like nice storage areas too. I tried my best. I'm not really sure how to make a fruit bat exhibit look pretty cool. Originally, I didn't even want it to be walkthrough, but I figured, you know what, it's there. It'll be kind of awkward if we don't even use the path that's, like, seemingly obvious in the middle. So I'm like, alright, it's fine, we can kind of work with that. And forgive me, I'm yawning again. I'm recording these, like, right in a row. So if you guys watched the last habitat, the Red Fox habitat, I'm also sleepy throughout that entire video. So I hope you guys enjoy that. But what I also do over here is just make sure that we have these nice crosses all set, because it looks super beautiful to begin with. I mean, look at us do this. That is looking mighty fly right there. And it just has it look like it's a much more solid building than if we didn't have all that jazz right up there. And we also do some decorations later down the line with, like, adding a whole bunch of leaves and stuff. And I also wanted to add some doors every now and again, and I forgot to add one right there. So that's exactly what we do, but we add these ones right here, just making sure our guests can actually walk through here. Well, they can walk through here. The guests kind of phase through all matter in space and time. But I really wanted to make sure that they could logically get through there. And it's like, you know what? We'll just have a sign that says bats. I really don't care. at this point. It's like, yeah, you kind of know what you're getting when you go into a room that says bats. Normally in the United States, we don't really have free-flying bats, which is so interesting. A lot of the times when you have, like, these fruit bats, you're often looking into an enclosure, but you're not exactly in it. I know a lot of the times when you're over in Europe, especially in Paradisa, you have a walkthrough. I think it might be a flying fox exhibit. I could be wrong. And I'm also doing some work, very minor work on the food court over here, so you can see me do that. But in America, we don't really have too many, like, intentionally walk-through bat enclosures. I know both at Franklin Park Zoo and at the Bronx Zoo, they have free flying bats and flying foxes, which is very cool, don't get me wrong, but it's in areas not specifically dedicated to bats, so I find that, like, it's a little cheeky, I guess. It's like, yeah, you also have them there, so it's technically not a bat walkthrough in my eyes, but maybe it is to you. I'm not really sure. It's all up to perspective. So, also working a lot more with the foliage. I really wanted to make sure that we have this beautiful, beautiful landscape all throughout here. And yeah, just decorating it even more with the fences as well that we've been using throughout the zoo. This is right next to our beaver habitat as well. So I really just wanted to continue the vibes on from over there. You may notice I'm not actually using the blue roofs. That's just because I really didn't want to. Oh my god. Remind me to grab a coffee. Comment down below, Leaf, you better grab a coffee. But that's kind of what I'm doing throughout there, just making sure that everything is nice and flowing with the perfect kind of like conjecture right next to that other exhibit. And I also want to keep in mind sight lines, just making sure that everything can be seen from everywhere. Well, not everything, but having like these nice, beautiful looks into like the lake and stuff, which we're going to be working a lot on that in the next episode. Just got to finish that up a little bit, then I'll be able to record the voiceover for that. Hope you guys are very excited for that episode. But that's exactly what we do throughout here, and it's just super nice. So you can see that gives you a little bit of an insight as to what we do with the next episode. But yeah, I just want that. I wanted that right in the middle of the exhibit. Not the exhibit, but the lake itself, just to make it have your eye go right towards it. And what I also do up here is make this little kind of like area up there so that we could kind of have a little bit of theming. I really want to have a whole bunch of crates and boxes and stuff like that. Reminds me very much of Oasis Hill Zoo, which is currently on hold, as you guys could probably imagine. I know it's been quite a few months since we've actually started that series. I should probably wrap it up relatively soon, but yeah, making our way throughout here and adding the rest of the rock work, just making this area feel like it's kind of like abandoned mine area. Oh my god, you guys really gotta like tell me to get a Monster Energy drink or something. Oh my god, kind of losing it. I have a coffee brewing right now, but I haven't drank it at all. And so I should probably go do that after I record this voiceover. But you can see we're adding just a little bit of ivy in here. I didn't want to go too crazy because obviously the ivy would need light to grow. So it really wouldn't make sense. You could probably imply that that's fake ivy. But I wanted a whole bunch of education on the outside as well. Nothing too crazy. Just using our lion signs as always. And I also wanted to bring the pumpkins in here. The pumpkins, in this case, would probably be able to be eaten by the bats or something like that. Maybe if they're hungry, they are fruit bats after all. So I'm pretty sure gourds would be in their diet. Normally, they're kind of like seeking out like a lot more juicy fruits like strawberries, berries in particular, kiwis, bananas, stuff like that. But we could probably imply that they might be able to eat pumpkins. Let me know in the comments down below if they can, because that's very interesting. Maybe they don't, and maybe we're all set. Also adding some light in here as well, just to help keep it feel nice and bright. Oh my god. Nice and bright. During the day as well, because obviously I would like it to be kind of like one-way glass, so it's kind of dark on the inside. Because obviously that would be the way you would want to experience like a bat walkthrough. And yeah, just using these path lights kind of light up the stalagmites, just help feel like, I don't know, it's a lot more unique than not. What I also do is add a few of these little signs for the bats all throughout here, just making sure that you know this area is for bats if the big bold letters didn't give it away already. What I also do throughout here is just get to work on the rest of the surrounding area, making sure that everything feels nice, flows nice, looks nice, all that just is nice, all being said and done. So I kind of continue these fences up here, and I get started just a little bit on our next episode. I know we don't actually get started on the next episode itself, but I start to make out the path for the cougar exhibit. So you can see we're going to be starting that relatively soon. I'm very excited for that. It's going to be a super fun habitat. And I think I'm actually going to change it from what I was originally going for right now. But I think I have an idea for it. So, of course, we're adding the rest of the foliage in here as well. Kind of sticking with our palette, not really deviating too far from it. You guys can already guess the trees that we're using throughout this entire zoo. It helps keep it nice and bright, and helps keep the entire zoo feeling like it's very heterogeneous. Normally, I like to make things homogeneous. Homogeneous, that's the word I was looking for. Heterogeneous is kind of what I like to do with my habitats, making sure that most kind of have this different feel from each other, so that they actually have a little bit more of like a unique style, if that makes sense. So as we make our way throughout here, we're just dotting all around and trying to find these new items to place everywhere now and again, and just making sure that everything kind of flows nicely from one area to the other. Oh, wow. Could you guys guess that I'm tired? But as I slowly decide into hysteric mania aside, you can see that we start to line up that area. Ideally, you would be able to get a good glimpse at what we're going to be building over there, hopefully soon. But I really hope that kind of like has a nice big focal feature as you make your way up there, so that you're not distracted by the big monstrosity that is the bat building. That is gonna plague my nightmares if I'm gonna be completely honest. It's a little bit way too tall. I can finally see why people didn't like the original bat kind of size, like the bat box size. But hopefully we can get more of those in the future if Frontier are very nice to us. Hopefully with the bird update or something like that. I really don't know. But tacking on a few more leaves every now and again, just making sure that looks nice. And here we are in the cinematics. That did not have a good old transition. So I gotta add that right there. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are always the best. I hope you guys enjoy the cinematics while I go and make myself a coffee. Maybe have a little bit of a nap. Hope you guys have a nice, relaxing day yourselves. And I hope you guys enjoy this little bit of cinematics. Have you guys built for the bats yet? You guys let me know, because this was my first time actually building for them. But still, hope you guys all have the most wonderful days, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, and goodbye.